Okay, thanks for tuning in again. Here's one more book I want to talk about. I finished this month ago, 2 months ago maybe. It's Musical Truth by Mark Devlin, and it's nonfiction. It's you probably see on the title there, exposing mind control manipulations of the corporate music industry and how to take our back our power. And yeah, it's a really thick book. You might see here. It's a hefty book. I think, yeah, it took me a while to get through, and not because it was a hard read. It was actually a really good read, really well written, which is often my problem with nonfiction. Like for a long time, I never read a lot of nonfiction. I still don't read a lot of it, but when I do, I'm hesitant because even if the topic's interesting, the writing could be pretty bad. So, anyways, this was a well written book, and Mark Devlin, if you don't know, he used to be a DJ in the UK. He was really obviously into the music scene, especially hip hop, kind of, I think, urban music, as he puts it in his book here. And then he noticed things about the music industry, and the negative images and messages, and how corporate music industry was becoming, and the manipulation of those corporations, and kind of killing the artistry, and things like that. Um, Basically, though, like, yeah, he covers a lot in here. Just the from kind of Illuminati, satanic imagery in music videos, to the deterioration of the hip hop music, rap music. He talks about the different sex scandals, pedophilia, especially Jimmy Savile. He covers a lot of stuff. I mean, like I said, it's a thick book. He covers like the Beatles, Rolling Stones, things that went on with them, things that might have went on with them, kind of some speculation here and there. And it's I definitely recommend it if you're interested in this kind of thing. And if you don't know if you're interested in this kind of thing, I suggest you look up Mark Devlin on YouTube, because he's done a lot of interviews. He's done a lot of presentations about this subject, and it's kind of good. Yeah, what's your appetite with that? And if you find that interesting, definitely pick up the book, because there's a lot of stuff in the book that he can't get into such detail in kind of his presentations and interviews. And yeah, I mean, I finally picked it up, and there's actually a sequel, Musical Truth 2, that I need to get to, because I'm sure it's just as good, if not better, than this one. There are a couple of nitpicks I have with the book. I mean, yeah, usually, I guess kind of the one thing though is because he mentions kind of other truth seekers, and things like that, and one group he mentions, how Christians react to this stuff that's in this book, and almost always he says, oh, they have such a simplistic worldview. Their ideas are simplistic about this. They don't go deep enough. And though I think that's true with probably many Christians, that's not true with all the Christians, and with actually Christian truth seekers. I mean, there's plenty on YouTube that you could watch, and I don't recommend them all, because they're not all that very good. But the reason I had a problem with that was because in the book he talks a lot about how all these celebrities flash the 666 and stuff like that, but it doesn't seem like he understands where the 666 comes from or what it means. And the reason I say that, because also in the book he mentions how he was astonished and surprised that kind of some Jamaican rappers, Jamaican musical artists in the 80s were kind of talking about this cashless society, and like, wow, they must have had some sort of foreknowledge, or they must have really been in tune with the universal vibes, or whatever. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say that, but he was kind of surprised that they could see the cashless society that's coming. And if you can't see it coming now, then well, start to look into it. But the reason why I thought, wow, why are you surprised? Because like that's what 666 is all about. If you look into Revelation, that's the mark people take in order to buy or sell. It's part of the cashless society. So if you're astonished that some Jamaicans saw it coming in the 80s, I mean, shouldn't you pay attention to what John wrote down, 1900, 2000 years ago? So I think, and just I'm sure just his exposure to Christianity, he didn't get into the deep part of it. And yeah, I don't blame him. I'm not trying to knock Mark Devlin, because he's pretty brilliant with what he writes here, and the research he's done and things like that. But yeah, that was just my little nitpick. Is like, you say, oh, these people have a simplistic point of view, but I think that kind of reflection that he hasn't dug deep enough into that particular subject. And in a way, why would he, if he's looking at music and not looking at religion necessarily? Anyways, this is a little bit longer than my other reviews, but I think, yeah, definitely, if you're interested in the conspiracy world, or the what's going on in the musical world, or things like that, definitely get this book. If you're unsure, watch some of Mark Devlin's interviews and presentations, and that'll put you over one way or another. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, happy reading. Check you out next time.